There are 3 distinct roles in Scrum: the Scrum Master, the Product Owner, and the Development Team. The Scrum Master assists both the Development Team and the Product Owner. The Scrum Master works with the Product Owner to maximize return on investment. The Scrum Master empowers the Development Team by fostering creativity, removing impediments, and coaching and mentoring as appropriate. The Product Owner is responsible for project success by defining the project vision, requirements, and priorities. The Product Owner has to resist the temptation to manage the team or add more important work after a sprint has begun. The Product Owner has to be willing to make the hard choices during sprint planning. The Development Team is comprised of 5 to 9 members with a mix of roles and has the autonomy to self-organize and choose how best to meet the goals of the Product Owner and is responsible for the same. A Scrum Master is a skilled servant leader. A Scrum Master has very little formal authority. However, he or she is expected to assist the team achieve the intended outcomes without interfering with the team's autonomy. The Scrum Master facilitates the Scrum ceremonies such as sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. The Scrum Master removes obstacles or impediments faced by the team. The Scrum Master is also a process coach and mentor. The Scrum Master must not be a line manager of the team. The Scrum Master is not to be a taskmaster either. The Scrum Master is not a technical or design authority, nor is he or she a decision maker for the team. Throughout the course of the project, the Scrum Master must not do anything to rob the team of its empowerment and ability to self-organize. Let's talk about the attributes of a Scrum Master. Scrum Masters need to exhibit responsibility. Even though they are not solely accountable for the team's output, they will consider it their responsibility to remove anything that impacts the team's productivity. They will try to enable the team to do the best that it can. They are humble. They will work in the background and let the team take all the glory. They will use we statements and seldom use any I statements. They are able to set aside their ego and shower all their attention on the team. They are by nature collaborative. They will encourage the team to have conversations among each other and with other stakeholders outside the team. They will nudge all the right people into getting involved and work together in trying to solve problems. They are committed to the team cause. Even if being a Scrum Master is a part-time task for them, they will give the highest priority to the team's needs. Hence, the Scrum Master's work allocation, especially if they are part-time, needs to take this into consideration. They are able to influence. They are naturally good communicators and able to convince others to adopt different approaches. They apply various techniques to mobilize organizational resources when required, walk the political tightrope when required, and in general do whatever it takes to get the team the assistance it needs. They are knowledgeable. It is clear that as process coaches for the team, Scrum Masters need to be experts in the method. They may not be the technical or domain experts. However, they are knowledgeable enough to be able to have productive conversations about the project being done by the team. Tasks for the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is a crucial role, and it is important for you to be able to be clear about exactly how the Scrum Master serves the team. Scrum Masters are servant leaders. This means that they put the team before themselves and assist the team. For example, they set up and ensure that the Scrum ceremonies are effectively carried out. They ensure that there is smooth flow of information within and outside the team, and that there is a spirit of collaboration in decision-making and problem-solving. Scrum Masters must make it their mission to resolve issues that hinder team progress. It doesn't matter what the nature of the issue is. A Scrum Master needs to mobilize the right resources within the organization to resolve those issues in a timely manner and escalate promptly if that does not happen. We need to understand that in the short duration of a sprint, even a few hours of being stuck can make the difference between a successful and unsuccessful sprint. Scrum Masters protect the team. They ensure that the team is not disturbed or asked to deviate from their commitments. If pressure mounts due to unreasonable expectations, they will step in and push back on the team's behalf. They will also play the role of peacemaker when conflict arises by encouraging the parties to focus on the issue, discuss the issue with an open mind, and resolve the conflict. Finally, Scrum Masters are the process coaches of the team. They use their understanding of Agile methods, and Scrum in particular, to guide the team through the do's and don'ts of Scrum. They ensure that the team stays true to the principles of Agile development. Scrum Master roles, Scrum teams. Before we discuss the role of a developer on a Scrum team, let's talk about the desirable characteristics of Scrum teams. They should be small and nimble. Team size should be no less than 3 and no more than 9. So that would be 6 plus or minus 3. Exceptions are possible, but uncommon. The small attribute makes the team nimble and improves productivity. It avoids the phenomenon Mike Cohn calls social loafing and instead produces focus on work. The team size should be just large enough that the team members are able to produce and showcase a significant increment of work at the end of each sprint. Sprint after sprint. Self-sufficient and cross-functional. For example, if a team needs user interface development skills, database expertise, and service expertise, all of those skills must be present on the team. Ideally, team members are generalizing specialists. Team members should not only be an expert or a specialist at one aspect of the development effort, but should also have enough skills and knowledge to fill in other roles as necessary. For example, if you are a UI developer, you should be able to don the hat of a services developer if needed. If a large team is to be split up into smaller Scrum teams, Scrum favors feature teams over component teams. Autonomous and self-organizing. Teams choose for themselves how they are going to organize and meet the goals of the product owner. No one gets to dictate to the team how to get their work done. The team decides, in collaboration with the product owner, the project direction, and the pros and cons of different approaches. Let's talk about some key decision points or factors to consider when assembling Scrum teams. Feature teams over component teams. The first issue is whether it's best to align team members based on features or components. Scrum favors feature teams over component teams. For example, it's best to avoid putting all of the UI developers together and all of the API or services developers together. Why? Because each feature or user story will require both the UI and services or API. Organizing based on components will reduce the incentive to collaborate. The only reason component teams may be justified would be if the components are likely to be used by multiple other teams. Assemble the right people. It's important to get the right mix of people together for the team, the right level of technical and domain expertise. Teams will naturally have both senior and junior level developers. This works perfectly as there will be stuff that is more appropriate for the junior developers and stuff that is not. Also, one of the risks of a small team is that the team may miss out on broader perspective and dissenting views. One way to work around this is to deliberately favor diversity in all aspects: gender, ethnicity, personality traits, etc. It may take some time for the team to advance through the storming stage of team development and develop the trust necessary to work effectively together, but it can be done. Once a team has been formed, it's best to preserve and assign whole teams rather than individuals to projects. It's best to avoid assigning team members to multiple projects at the same time. Distributed team. A distributed team may be unavoidable. Those based at the same geographical location should be co-located in the same team room. And technology, processes, and ground rules should be put in place to overcome the disadvantages of all team members not being co-located. Plotting team size and productivity will likely result in an S-curve. You can see here that a team can actually be too small or too large. Remember, the sweet spot is 6 plus or minus 3.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.